a first-generation college grad, born and raised inner city Memphis, graduated from the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, and finished my graduate education at Arkansas State, but I currently live in the Washington, D.C. metro area, and I have been here for a bit over 13 years. And as she shared, being in the FBI and working across the U.S. intelligence community, I was an intelligence analyst is where I started, ended as a leader, working various national security programs, including counterterrorism, counterintelligence, transnational organized crime, national kidnappings, working and operating overseas in high threat areas as well, and really doing some very cool things that I'll probably never be able to talk about, but really was just blessed to have the opportunities that I did. And I pivoted actually in 2020, July of 2020. I say on July 4th, 2020, I gave my independence and freedom. Literally is the day that I have fully departed from my federal service. And that was really because of my daughter. And with COVID, I knew I was going to leave, but COVID really expedited that because she is a cardiac patient. And at the time, she was barely 2 years old. And me and my husband both were looking at each other like, well, if one of us gets sick, somebody has to be able to take care of her. And so that really led to a shift. And another part of that is, quite frankly, as we are sitting here as a Black woman, also, I have been passed over too many times for other leadership roles that not only did I qualify for, it was roles that I had actually done, and for people that was specifically asking for me by name. And I still did not get the roles. And so instead of getting all bad and angry, I took my talent elsewhere. And as a result, as I tell people today in some of the work that I do, don't panic, pivot. So I pivoted. And I joined Twitter 1.0. And that was a heck of a ride from 2020 to 2022. What felt like 2 years, well, what was 2 years felt like 10. And if you understand what was happening between 2020 and 2022, if it was happening in the news, it was happening in my life. So being able to shape a lot of the work around user trust and safety, things that really balancing the freedom of expression while working to mitigate on and offline platform harm, including very specifically focused on women's safety, journalist safety, and public officials as well, particularly again, going back to women and also underrepresented communities. And because we know that the data shows that when it comes to technology, those who are usually weaponized or targeted more in a negative way are usually underrepresented communities. And so that work actually allowed me to learn a bit more about like AI, large language models, before it became this big thing that we see today, and really working with product managers and engineers to ensure that the policy I was creating, my team was creating, that it was actually ingested into those big computer systems. So understanding how the sausage was made in like at a very minute level was critical to honestly my next pivot, quite frankly. And from Twitter, I actually went to Amazon and was actively recruited by them to serve as their global head for display and sponsor ad policies. So in the Amazon ads org portfolio or whatnot, and focus on ad tech in a sense of things as a customer that you would see across your Amazon timeline, any sponsored products, ensuring that the things that you see are also in compliance with international advertising standards and also meets federal regulations, not only for the US, but also abroad. And so from my time from Amazon, I actually decided that it was time for me to fully launch on my own. And so I decided to fully walk in not only my life's work of what I say my redirected purpose of maternal health equity as a result of my journey and my daughter's journey. I also decided to, if I could not get a seat at the table with a lot of the AI companies, despite me being at the forefront of the work that was being created, I would just go create my own table. And that's exactly what I did. I was getting rejections as it related to a lot of the big AI firms, and decided that I don't need permission to get into this work. And I can just go build my own table. And so I created the N Strategy Group. The E stands for Erica, and the N stands for my miracle daughter, Nia. And together it means powerful purpose, because we know Nia means purpose in Swahili, and E for Erica means powerful woman. And so I do everything in power and in purpose, and I get a chance to help coach and lead other people in that work. And so I'll talk a bit more about AI is for everyone, but only if you lead it that way, for all you amazing people that are on the call today. So what I'm going to do is quickly share my screen, and so you can get into what you came for, as I always say. See, sharing. Okay. Let me know what you see and what you don't see. Do you see the main slide?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Perfect. So AI is for everyone, and as I mentioned, but only if you lead it that way. And AI isn't just about robots, Silicon Valley. It's reshaping how we work, connect, and build. I call AI my best friend, my new assistant. Talk to it like it's, my home girl, home boy, whatever you want to call it. And it really streamlines the work that I do on a day-to-day as someone who learned a year ago that I have ADHD, specifically inattentiveness. This allowed me to really hone in how my brain was wired and not feel like I had so many things in my head and I could never perfect them the way I wanted to. And AI has allowed me to do that in the last year. And so you don't need to be a coder, as many of us know, or a tech executive to be a part of this movement. And as I remind people in all the talks that I have, it's important that we don't just go stick our head in a stand because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to put my information in to AI, et cetera, et cetera. 'Cause there are people that are very skeptical, and rightfully so. But as entrepreneurs, it really can help streamline your work. And as executives. And the question is, will you watch the change or will you lead through it? And I would hope that the answer is I'm going to lead through all of the change, all of the chaos. And so the biggest thing is, I believe, as leaders, entrepreneurs, wherever you are in your journey, this professional journey, is really cutting through the noise. And what actually matters about AI right now, I know there's a lot of things that are out there, and it can become very overwhelming very quickly. And it's really important to think about AI isn't just ChatGPT. It isn't just Claude. It isn't just Gemini. It's not about scary job killers, because at the end of the day, while technology will iterate and have impact on the job industry, it will not be able to fully replace all things. You still need humans behind the magic that makes these things go boom and go amazing, all the magic. And it's important that as technology continues to iterate, that we as a people, we as entrepreneurs, we as CEOs, as executives, that we also continue to iterate as well. And what's real, as I mentioned, is we know also automation, yes, it's here, it's coming, it's going to always be ever evolving. And so it's really important that we think about, customer engagement and AI. That's a real thing. As we know, a lot of times we're calling our, companies that we need help with, and we're getting bots. I can tell you that is literally a pet peeve of mine personally. I'm like, I just want to get to a person. And thinking about like decision making, also content creation. These are things that AI can do, but what AI can't do is give you, I believe, the real life human affirmation. Yes, it can tell you, but AI makes mistakes. So while it can tell you you're amazing, and because you just produced this great thing, what if that thing isn't actually that great because it hasn't been properly vetted? So let's not skip over some of the steps that makes us credible as leaders, as entrepreneurs. And that's where you need that human intervention or human moderation, as I would say, in the tech world. Also, relevance. Think about you as your role inside of your company, organization, et cetera. How, as entrepreneurs, consultant, and leaders, are you using AI tools today to save time, scale vision, and to clarify your messaging? I mean, I use it every day for those reasons. And I will, share just a quick story about using AI to optimize resumes. As we know, there are many federal employees, federal contractors that are getting laid off at like the blink of an eye. And me living here in the crux of it all, and as someone who pivoted from federal government 5 years ago, on President's Day weekend, I actually created a flyer and because I had this moment of like, what are we doing for people who are getting laid off? And especially women. We know women are disproportionately impacted. And typically in underrepresented communities, women, we're the matriarchs. We're making the family life decisions. We are doing all the things. And all I could think about was like, oh my God, like, who is doing what? And I had that divine intervention moment of like, what are you doing about it? I'm waiting for everybody else, but like I can be part of the solution. And so that Saturday, I created a flyer, sent it out to a very niche network. And before I could even get into 24 hours in the workshop, was going to be on a Monday. And before I could even get to Monday, I had to turn off my Zoom registration because it was such a demand that I didn't even like realize that people would actually care to hear about at that time, because sometimes we can get paralyzed by the things that's happening. And so what I provided a workshop on was don't panic, pivot. And we know that as humans and as women, we can always find ourselves in unfortunate situations, but it's like, what do? We turn those lemons into lemonade. And that workshop that was supposed to have been 90 minutes turned into 3 hours. And in that workshop, not only was I talking about just resumes, I was showing women in federal government how to optimize AI and leverage it for recreating their resumes, using the government speak, turn into private sector speak, and showing them in real time different apps, all these amazing things. And literally out of that, as someone, again, who is just a visionary just by design, I organically built two different programs as a result of that. I created the Jumpstart coaching program, which was a 90-minute strategy session for women who were really serious about honing in what was going to be their next move, what do they want to focus on, and me helping them in real time be able to build out some of the things that maybe they had just brainstormed about, and or if you were just completely lost, and helping them get on the right track. Because while I wasn't in the same situation as them, I actually was very strategic in my move from government into tech, and being able to share those skills 5+, almost 5 years later was just really incredible. And it has been life-changing for the people who attended not only that call, but I did other workshops as a result of this very grassroots effort to help people and meet them where they are. And also created an accelerator program, a 2-week accelerator program, included 4 live classes where we broke it down into 4 different modules, focused on resume, LinkedIn, and also entrepreneurship. Because what we understand in this new economy is that we can no longer depend on just your 9 to 5 to ensure that you're able to take care of your family, right? And it's really important, like, government was always the safe, like, career, safe job, safe agency, all those things. And now that is no longer the case. And so reminding people, even in their worst moments, that they are the talent. Like, you've been in government, there are skills and things that other companies are going to always need because they still have to comply. While it may not look like that in this season, there are different things that you offer that no one else can do what you do. And that is just a perfect example of really taking what was, I would say, meant for bad, quite frankly, and helping people to see something that could be good coming from that, and how to really strategize and be able to provide for their family again long term, and how to even be out on your own, building your LLC, being a consultant, and how those things come to pass, and really believing in yourself when it gets hard. And so that accelerator program has led me to do like monthly check-ins with my first beta group. And it has really been phenomenal to watch them transform in real time. Again, government people a lot of times aren't on LinkedIn. So, they don't even, like, they know what it is, but don't know what it is. And so teaching them these real skills was literally about cutting through the noise. And even though I'm talking about it at an entrepreneur level, this is also talking to you how I've used those things to cut through the noise when everything is loud around you. How can I be the one to help others by being able to separate signal from hype? Realize that was an issue. Perfect example, right? But like, what am I to do with this? Then saying, oh, I've done this before. Then being able to identify where I could leverage my expertise and also being able to prioritize, as it states here, ethical considerations, data privacy. I also, not only because of the work that I do in my consultant firm, but because I have a background in national security and intelligence, I also understand data privacy. I also understand what operational security means, meaning that I have taught these people to use AI, but use it in a way that can keep their information safe. Like, for example, brackets around certain things. You don't put your name in these systems, particularly if you're not paying for them. And, some systems are better than others, and how to leverage them. And that way you can minimize or mitigate social engineering, those things, data spills, all these things were super important and should be important and at top of mind for any entrepreneur or executive as well. Another thing, embracing human agency. As we think about not only what do we do to cut through the noise, the one way to be able to do that is by embracing your own agency, because a lot of times we can talk ourselves out of the greatness that's within us as leaders. And when you think about having personal agency in this tech-driven world, it's really important that as things are evolving because of technology, that we stay human while the world gets smarter. Because again, you cannot replace the human connection. I don't care what people do and create. AI won't replace your genius. Like I said, you are the master of your mind, and it will amplify it if you lead it with intention. Like, we all know that AI is what you put in is what you get out. So it will say whatever you want it to say. And being mindful of those things is really important. And the real edge around what AI can't give, I know they're trying to build models around this, is emotional intelligence. But at the end of the day, it's still a computer brain and not a human. And emotional intelligence, storytelling, and self-agency is so important as you're building out your own business, leading teams, because it helps to also, I call it self-regulation as a leader, as a doer, as an entrepreneur, being able to say, yes, I am enough. I'm amazing. What I'm building, someone wants it. I am needed. I am worthy. And so one of the frameworks that I actually teach about, and I'll just give just a quick kind of highlight as you see in the Embrace Human Agency, is about be professionally fit. Be professionally fit was a framework that I created very early on for myself. And it was something that I still leverage it around as technology is evolving, as the world is evolving, as the job market is evolving. How am I going to stay relevant in it, right? So when you talk about being professionally fit, you need to be a force to be reckoned with, number one. That means knowing, like, I'm it. And period. That's it. Period. And two, be intentional. That's the I. Be intentional and also be indispensable. And really what that hones into is that you're always iterating. So you can never be, I've been, used up and now I'm put to the side. No matter your age, whatever you are, as long as you continue to iterate and understand where you're trying to go, even if you don't have it all figured out, as long as you continue to want to learn as you're here on this earth, and you can continue to have those amazing genius moments. And again, regardless if someone else is doing what you are doing, there's only one of you. You're one of one. Beyonce has told us you're one of one. I'm the only one. So don't even waste your time. and that is really it, honestly, staying in our own lanes. And as you see up here, it talks about, being a force to be reckoned with, being intentional, being timely. Also, it's important to be in at the right moment, the right time. You can have a great business, but if it's prematurely birthed, that's a problem. If it is a late term birth, that's also a problem. So you got to understand the right moment and right timing. And it does not have to be perfect to launch. It is totally okay to be intentional about being perfectly imperfect. But being consistently imperfect is what is going to get you to your ultimate goal in your business, in your leadership rights, as I say, and being thankful. And being thankful is really about talking to yourself and saying, I am thankful for the moment that I am in. I am thankful for what I have been able to build, whether that's inside of an organization and or if it's outside of an organization. I am so incredibly thankful for my brain, my body to allow me to do the things that I do, because I don't think we do it enough. And we can get so caught up in trying to be the next best thing versus focusing on your lane, your roads, and staying tunnel vision on you. Like, the great late Kobe Bryant always said, he's his own competition. And I have to remind myself of that too. I am my own competition. There is no one that can beat me. And as you see the pyramid as it fits into my Be Fit model, you think about, the thankful part, as I talked about, that gratitude, it really says, it really reminds you of where you've come from. Because I'm sure we all have our own story. We all have our own journeys. And we can sometimes discount that and be like, everybody's doing it in that. But everybody's not you, because everybody has a different capacity. And so don't discount your trials, your triumphs, the things that almost took you out. They are what have made you resilient and what probably has you on this call today. And I think that is so important. And as I mentioned about acting with purpose and at the right time in the right moment. And again, what is that niche thing that allows you to be like different from anyone else, that makes you truly indispensable? And that can change over time. Also, being a force, being a catalyst. Anne said it best. When I was younger, I used to try to bottle my energy because I didn't want to be quote unquote too much. And I realized that energy actually makes me who I am. And so I actually have a t-shirt that says, I don't dim my light to fit in. I'm sure, and you've seen it in Speaker Hub. I wear it a lot because it is just a real reminder of stop trying to be a shrinking valley girl when God and the whole universe has called you to be something completely different. And your energy is actually what gravitates people towards you and towards your causes and the things that you care about. So to anyone that is struggling with, I'm not trying to be too much and whatever that thing is, be all of that and then some. Be bold and be unapologetic about it. Again, bold moves for the future. And map your tech terrain. Think about your audit, your processes, and assembling your A team, knowing your right-handed people, your left-handed people, I'm left-handed, and being able to build those relationships with tech-savvy advisors and collaborators that really help you to think beyond anything you may have ever imagined about your own business. And being able to experiment deliberately. Like I run small pilots all the time. Like I told y'all, I built something in literally 24 hours. Most people say I'm crazy, but because of the way my brain is wired, it's normal for me. And those are things that I also started to embrace, that I am very strategic and calculated, but I'm also someone who is totally okay with taking calculated risk and not being afraid to fail. And that's the only way I believe you grow. And again, being calculated and strategic about where you're trying to go, how you might get there. That roadmap may not be fully all articulated, but at least having a general outline is super important. Like I said, mapping your terrain, assembling your team, whether that's a one or two people, because you are a super small business, but having people that are going to challenge your thoughts and think differently, to help you be even better in your business, and experimenting on that from a beta to maybe it's an early launch, and thinking about what your MVP, so your minimally viable product, what it will look like and what it does look like, what's the feedback on it, all those things. And so I would just ask anyone, and I'm about to wrap up, anyone on this call or who hears this later, to think about one task you could delegate to AI this week or next week. And because I know some people plan out on Sundays versus, early in the week. And you don't need all of the answers to create this framework. You just need to start, as we know, and using AI for market research. What's good? AI can help you even hone in on what's good, where you can actually have your most biggest strengths tied into the work that you actually love to do in a way that you may not have actually considered. Personalize your client engagement, asking your network, leaning on them for, like, hey, we were taught in one of our speaker hub sessions about doing surveys and like leveraging them to build your business. And I always say, one of the things I live by is disruption is your invitation to evolve. I am a professional disruptor. I'm a personal disruptor. I literally will let people know probably day one. If you don't want something to change, do not hire me. Let me just say that. We're not with the same old, same old. We're going to do it differently. I'm like, because it's just been working out for you. Okay. So let's try something different, even if it doesn't work, right? Like, that's the beauty of living. And the last thing I'll just highlight here is, if you're, love some of the things that I talked about today, how you can work with me or even just stay connected with me. I'll have that at my very last slide is, if you got the vision, I can help lead and turn into your future. I can really work with you through your strategy and the vision consultations around, this is where I am. This is, I think, the end goal. And then I don't have the everything in between. And then also branding and leadership workshops. I do those as well. And digital strategy and AI integration for entrepreneurs is something else that I also actively do. And for anyone that's on this call or heard this call, I'll also provide a 20% discount for anyone who is interested in working with me for the next month. I'll keep it open because I know people listen at different times. And I am just really just big on helping others and also paying it forward along the way. And thinking about your AI leadership journey, if you don't use it as often, some of the things you think about as you're building and growing your business, your teams, is the awareness around it. What do you know? What are the things you don't know? What is it that has you afraid to like dive deeper into AI? And recognizing the impact on the field that you're already in. Also thinking about, how is AI going to shape the future? And we don't know all of those answers, but how is it shaping it in the short term and maybe even the midterm? And then thinking about the integration, as I mentioned, what is one thing you can ask AI as a delegation to do for you the next week? Acceleration, AI can really help you scale. But think about, you start something like, that's not working out. It's totally okay to say, I'm nixing it. Totally good. And how you can connect with me. That my website is, and I'll drop it also in Zoom, is leadwithinstrategy.ai. And also, if you want to reach out to me, info@ericalshoemate.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. You scan the QR code. You can follow me or connect with me. And also on Instagram, I am at the Policy Goddess. And I just wanted to say just thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with the Clarity Mastermind group today. And really, really am honored to just be able to share a bit more about what I do, and hopefully the information I shared today was impactful and helpful.